Jesus fucking Christ, Jared shuddered. I almost fucking froze out there. Spending any length of time out there is suicide. The interior of the Honda wasn't exactly warm, but at least it was out of the wind. The windows were frosting over from everyone's breath. Delmer was snoring thickly beside him, with his Ed Hardy-adorned skull resting against the shattered window. Del's eyelids were open slightly, showing thin crescents of white. What the hell were you doing out there, guy? Mo demanded. You were gone for a long time. We were freaking out. I was just about to bust out of this bitch and come looking for you, dog. Swear to God, Ray said. He looked cold and scared. I thought you was in trouble and shit, yo. Nah, no trouble. Jared rubbed his face and blew into his cupped hands. I wanted to have a look at the doe we hit, that's all. Tried to track it and I couldn't, so I came back. I'll tell you guys what, I'm not going out there again until I see headlights coming, and that's a fact. I don't advise that either of you go out there. You lose your fucking nose to frostbite. Del's still passed out, yo. Ray's skinny, pallid face was pinched with worry. He needs help, like, right now. It's friggin' cold in here, man. He needs to be wrapped up in blankets and shit. Jared looked to Mo, and the younger man shook his head. I always forget to put stuff like that in the car. We live in Canada and it's winter, for Christ's sake. Why the hell wouldn't you think to put some fucking blankets in your trunk? I know, it's stupid. You don't gotta tell me that. Not everyone's smart like you, maybe. Mo gave him a wounded look in the rearview mirror. Jared exhaled deeply and let it go. He wasn't in much of a position to be holier than thou with anyone. He told the guys a lie, and he fervently hoped that he wouldn't be forced to tell them the truth. If they all stayed inside the Honda, down in the ditch out of sight, he thought they might be okay then. That's what he chose to believe anyway. Ray, I'm all in favor of Del going to the fucking hospital, believe me. But there's nothing we can do about it right now except hunker down and hope. I don't have a clue how far the nearest farmhouse is. Before we went off the road, I hadn't seen one for at least 20 minutes. On a warm spring day, sure, one of us could take a walk down the road and eventually find a door to knock on, but now? You wouldn't make it. You'd go stupid from hypothermia, wander off into the woods and fucking freeze to death. And that would be that. They wouldn't find you until the next thaw. There's nobody living out here, guy. Not for miles. Mo looked grim. He finally understood the depth of their situation. Help has to come to us. And it will come soon enough, right? A snowplow will come through and we'll get the fuck out of here. Sure, Jared agreed. One will come around before too long and we'll be rescued. We just gotta hold on till then. As for Luca, I don't know what to do about that situation, or what he's going to do about it. I guess we just won't worry about that right now. We've got more pressing concerns at the moment. Yeah, like the fact I gotta take a piss and it's fucking freezing out there, Ray muttered. Jared stared at him for a moment, then firmly shook his head no. Nah, man, you'll get frostbite on your dick. For real. I've got an empty water bottle back here. Why don't you just piss in that? We won't look. Fuck that, Mo growled. I don't want him to piss in my car. That shit is out of line. He's not gonna piss in your car, Mo. He's gonna piss in this bottle. Relax. Jared gave the bottle to Ray and Mo snatched it out of his hand. No! Don't you dare whip out your cock in my car, guy. Fucking seriously. What's with all the hating, dog? Ray scowled at him. I ain't gonna spill any for reals. I've done this before. And don't snatch shit out of my hands, bitch. That shit is just plain rude. How's this? You call me a bitch in my own car again and I'll knock you the fuck out. Seriously, guy, I'll wreck you. Whatever, you fucking beaner. Jared yelled. Hey, what the fuck, guys? Stop this stupid shit right fucking now. You're such a stupid little wigger bitch, you can't even rip on the right fucking race. I'm an Arab, not a Mexican, dumbass. Mo is short for Mohammed. Maybe you should try and learn something about the rest of the world, asshole. Alright, so you're a terrorist then. Right on, brah. Good for you, that's way better. Mo's lips thinned into a hard little line, and Jared put a firm hand on his shoulder. No, come on, stop this. Everyone's stressed the fuck out. This is the stress talking, guys, not you. Nah, Ray sputtered, his face red. It ain't no stress talking. It was this camel jockey motherfucker right here, running his mouth when he can't back it up. Open your mouth one more time and I'll knock your teeth out, guy. You could go get yourself a grill then, right? That would be pretty cool. Mo, shut up. Stop it. Ray, you shut up too. Mo turned his narrowed eyes onto Jared, ready to lash out, and Jared stared right back at him. Tell you what, he said. If you guys want to scrap, go ahead, step outside and give her. And when you're done, I'll step outside too, and I'll take on the winner. Jared nodded solemnly. And after I kick the living shit out of him, I'm gonna give the loser some too, just to keep it fair. How's that sound? Mo opened his mouth, thought the better of it, and shut it again. Ray looked down at his saggy panted lap and didn't utter a peep. Okay then. Ray, take a piss outside, I guess, if it's gonna keep the peace. Stay down here in the ditch though, man. For real. Don't go up into the field or whatever. It's cold as fuck up there. You're out of the wind down here. I'm not gonna go very fucking far, dog. Don't worry. Ray cast a dark look at Mo and added, I think I'll take a piss right beside his cheap little shitbox, bruh. Maybe even on it. Ray jumped out into a blast of cold air and slammed his door shut behind him. Mo watched him go with naked hatred in his eyes. I can't stand that piece of shit guy. I just want to bust his fucking face in. This is all his fault in the first place. You were right. Jared nodded. Yep, I was. He's a fucking idiot. But he moves a lot of weight, Mo. You gotta take that into consideration. We still need him. He looked away and thought, none of it's gonna matter anymore pretty soon. Either the cold is going to kill us, Luca is going to kill us, or whatever's cruising around in the fields is gonna fucking kill us. Take your pick. Beside him, Del abruptly let out a thick, phlegmy snort and mumbled, faces in the whirlwind, eyes like windows, claws and teeth. Jared gaped at him, and the fine hairs on the back of his neck stood up like stiff little quills. What the fuck? Del's head was still craned to rest against the shattered window. His eyes were fully open, but only the bloodshot whites were showing. Del was drooling heavily into his beard, staring out the window with those sightless eyes at nothing at all. Nothing that Jared could see anyway. What did you say, Del? Mo was twisted in his seat with his back against the dashboard, cowering as far away from Johnny Delmer as he could. Jared, what's he talking about, guy? Is he actually awake? I'm talking about death, Del burbled. Spit bubbles inflated and popped as he spoke. I'm talking about predators and prey. Guess which one you are? Del, you're fucking scaring me, guy. Stop it. Mo pleaded. He looked at Jared and stabbed a finger in Del's direction. Seriously, he's freaking me out. What is he talking about? Del? Jared said, carefully. Is it you who we're talking to now? Del's response was to grin widely and fart. His breathing was shallow. It rattled in his chest like a venomous snake. Who am I talking to? Jared whispered. Who are you? I'm the screaming in the dark, Del gurgled. His eyelids fluttered. There are faces in the whirlwinds, Jared. Claws and teeth in the snow. Ask Ray. He'll know all about it soon enough. He's climbing up the slope right now. Do you see him? Jared twisted in his seat just in time to see Ray's scrambling feet disappear up the side of the ditch. Oh fuck! Ray! Jared, what the fuck is this? Mo's eyes were wide and wet. We're all going to die tonight, Dell whispered. We're all going to die, and then we'll scream. We'll scream with the others in the wind. Shut up! Mo shrieked. He looked back to Jared and pleaded, Make him shut the fuck up! He's freaking me out and I don't want to be here anymore. I have to get Ray back in here, man, okay? Just ignore anything he says and fucking get a hold of yourself, alright? Hang tight for a minute. Don't leave me in here with this creepy fucker. Please, guy. Mo reached out to snare a panicked fistful of Jared's coat. Jared snarled and slapped the hand aside with a blurred snap of his wrist. He seized the younger man by the base of his skull and squeezed. Mo whimpered and clutched weakly at Jared's wrist. Jared squeezed harder. Fuck off and get a grip on yourself right fucking now. Don't be a punk. Quit panicking and keep your shit together. Got it? He tightened his hard, calloused grip on Mo's skull once more for emphasis, then released him. Stay here and calm the fuck down. I'll be right back. There wasn't time to be any nicer about it. As much as Jared didn't like Ray, well, there was the rabbit. Ray was a fuck-up, and Ray needed an ass-kicking for sure. But he didn't deserve what was waiting for him in the field. That was too much. Jared jumped out of the car and bounded up the steep slope of the ditch in 4 great, scrambling leaps. At the top, the wind was waiting for him, breathtakingly cold and savage as a headhunter. Jared's exposed skin immediately began to tingle and smart against the abrasive atmosphere around him. His sinuses ached. Ray's oversized camo print jacket was a small, green and brown smudge in the distance. He was wandering out into the middle of the field, shambling through the deep snow like a man in the grip of a dream. Jared plowed along after him. His breathing quickly became labored and harsh. It had been 2 years since he'd last smoked a cigarette, but it seemed that the long-term damage had already been done. Jesus, I really hope I won't have to run for it, because I'm fucking wiped. I'm not a young buck anymore. No, sir. Ray suddenly stopped dead and stood there in the knee-high snow, his arms dangling at his sides and his body rocking back and forth like a sapling in the roaring gale. Jared plodded up with burning lungs and shook him by his shoulders. Ray, what the fuck are you doing, man? Why the hell did you come out here? Ray turned to face him, and his eyes were dark and huge, like the eyes of someone who had been heavily drugged. He slurred, I was taking a piss and I thought it would be nice to come out here and say, like, hi, you know? Someone told me I should come say hi. Ray trailed off. The slap, hypnotized expression abruptly disappeared and was replaced by a look of confusion. I don't know why I came out here, dog. It's fucking colder than shit out here. Ray looked around them wildly. I can't even remember coming out here. I can't. I don't even... No, man. Fuck this. Ray brushed past him and started trudging back to the car. Jared followed close behind. The ditch seemed very, very far away. Something grabbed the dumb bastard by his slow-witted brain and walked him out there, just like a puppet. They needed to get back to the car, and fast. Ray, I think we better hurry up, bud. Let's pick up the Oh shit, look! It's one of those fucking tornado things! Jared wheeled around and saw that a towering dervish was bearing in on them from across the field, moving like a speeding freight train along the shifting landscape beneath it. The devil was as tall as a telephone pole and well over 8 feet across, a mammoth disturbance of snow and wind, and something else. Something malevolent. Ray, run your ass off! Go! Jared shoved Ray ahead of him, and they all outran for the ditch. Jared's lungs immediately began to burn. His legs went rubbery. His boots felt like they were made of lead. He shouted, Don't stop and don't look back." And then there was only the screaming wind, the crunch of boots on snow, and harsh panting of white frosted breath. The ground was frigid quicksand that sucked at the fleeing men's feet, and the gale constantly pushed them back with 1,000 icy hands. It seized hold of Ray's hat and sent it spiraling up into the sky. Jared's throat convulsed on a strangled scream. They weren't going to make it. There was simply no way that they were going to make it to the ditch. "It's right fucking behind us." He could actually hear the thing. Its roar mimicked the high-pitched shriek of the blasting wind, but it was really the triumphant howl of a carnivore, a ravenous beast that is moments away from leaping upon its kill. Jared tried to put on a burst of speed, but he had nothing left. Beside him, Ray looked over his shoulder at the thing that loomed behind them, and his face clenched into a rictus of horror. Unnavigated, his feet tangled together and Ray fell heavily into the snow. Jared kept running. He heard Ray scream, "Jared, help me!" And then there was an indescribable tearing sound. Unbidden, Jared's brain spat up the image of a wet blanket falling into the whirring blades of a gigantic fan. Jared pumped his leaden feet and kept his gaze fixed on the approaching ditch. He didn't look back. Tears froze on his cheeks. He didn't dare look back. Not like Ray did. He didn't want to see what Ray had seen. Faces in the whirlwind, eyes like windows, claws and teeth. No, no, and no again. Jared staggered the last few ungainly steps to the ditch and hurled himself face down into the slope. He tumbled like a hoop to the bottom and landed on his back, wheezing and trembling. He tried to get up, but couldn't. His limbs were dead and his lungs were on fire. There was no more to give. He was done. Heart frozen in his chest, Jared curled into a tight little ball, and he waited for the devil to fall into the ditch and tear him apart. A minute went by, then 2, and then 5 more. Grimacing against the stiffening in his legs, Jared heaved himself to his feet and cautiously crawled up the slope until he could see out into the field. The snow devil was gone, but it had left something behind. A giant splotch of red streaked snow. He's with them now. He's in the wind. Jared slid back down to the bottom of the ditch, and numb right down to his soul, he limped back to the car. Out in the field, the wind rapidly covered Ray's sparse remains in a thick, shifting shroud of white. Within minutes, every trace of him was buried and gone.